Hello, and hello from Ireland. This week I am in a place called County Wicklow and enjoying the sunshine, although it could rain any minute. So welcome to Ireland. Today I'd like to talk about the IELTS speaking exam and share with you 7 tips that I have for students who are taking the IELTS oral exam. So the IELTS oral exam is broken into 3 parts. Part 1 is short questions about maybe your hometown or your job or your family. Usually it's the easier part of the exam. Part 2, you are given a card with instructions and then you have to speak about a topic. So for example, that could be describe somebody you admire and why. And then it will give you clear instructions on what to say. And it's like a mini presentation. And then in part 3, it's a discussion-based part of the exam where you have a conversation or a discussion with the examiner. And this is usually the more difficult part because it is on more abstract topics, for example, maybe on politics or maybe on the environment. Here are my top 7 tips for surviving the IELTS oral exam. And these tips can be applied for any oral exam or even for an interview. Okay? Tip number 1, answer the question. Answer the question. Okay? That might seem really obvious, but when you're nervous, oh, it's raining. When you're nervous, it can be difficult to listen to somebody and to listen to what they're asking. So really focus on the question and focus on answering the question. So try not to go off track too much. Okay, and if you do go off track, bring the answer back to the question and link it to the question. Okay, and show the examiner you understand what they're saying. Okay. Tip number 2, keywords. Keywords. So when the examiner asks you a question, you want to start thinking about what words can you fit into your answer. Okay. So, for example, if you are asked about your hometown, you could start to think about words such as amenities or facilities, public transport, access to nature, hospital, school, supermarket, bakery, bank, post office, those words, to show that you know those words. Okay? Wow, it's really raining. Tip number 3, descriptions. And by this I mean detailed descriptions. So it's like if you're asked to describe a holiday or to describe a person or a place, it's good to think about your oral exam like you're painting a picture for the examiner, but with words. Okay, so with words. So give as much detail as you can. So think about colors, think about the sounds, the smells, the environment. What does it feel like? Is it chaotic? Is it noisy? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? Okay, so to give a nice image of what you're describing, and the examiner can then experience it better in their mind. It's nicer. Tip number 4, stories. And by that I mean personal stories, so personal anecdotes. So don't be afraid to tell stories, even a very, very short story from your past or something that happened to you recently. It makes the answer more relatable. Okay, it makes it more relatable. Tip number 5, opinions. Opinions. It's a good idea to express your opinion on a particular topic. Okay, it makes the exam more engaging. Okay, and to give a reason for your opinion, it makes the conversation more interesting. They don't have to agree with you; they might disagree with you, and that could make for a very interesting discussion. Tip number 6: enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. So try to use your body a bit when you're speaking. Use your facial expression. Even if you're not that interested in the topic, Maybe you can talk about it in such a way that's interesting for you. So try a little bit to be enthusiastic. It makes it more interesting. And last but not least, tip number 7, to keep calm. To keep calm. Doing an oral exam can be very scary, and you can get very nervous very easily. I know what it feels like. I have done oral exams in French, in German, and in Irish in my past, in school and in university. And there were times where I felt like I forgot how to speak. So I understand. The first thing for keeping calm is to speak slower. Speaking slower gives you more time to think and more time to breathe. Both of those things are really important when communicating. So breathing is very important, and you can do a breathing exercise before you go into the exam, and even during the exam. Just bring your attention back to your breath. A good breathing exercise that I like to do when I get nervous is to breathe in for a count of 3, I think, and then breathe out, so exhale for a count of 5. So you're making your exhale slower, and that calms down your heart. Do that 3 times, it'll make a difference. And the last one is to smile. So smiling helps you to feel calm, and it creates a nice feeling between you and the examiner. So those are my top 7 tips on the IELTS exam. Answer the question, use keywords, describe in detail, tell stories, give your opinion, be enthusiastic, and keep calm. So let me know how you get on in your exam or your interview. If you have any other tips, let me know down below. Leave a comment, and I'll see you soon. Take care.